much. I would now like to introduce Maricel Herrera.
So again, good evening. Thank you all for coming. I know that you've had a full day. You've probably come from work, from class, from a myriad of things you could have done, but you chose to be here tonight. And I consider that a real blessing and an honor to spend this time with you because I know our time is limited. I'm excited and I'm thankful for the opportunity to be here. I have been part of this open house launching of the HSI Excelencia program since it started earlier this spring. So this is my 5th campus that I've spoken on as part of our world tour, if you will, or our Maricopa County tour, to welcome you all as students and families as part of this HSI Excelencia. For me, I wish you could see what I see when I stand in front of an audience like yourself, because what I see is amazing and trailblazing students, family members, and educators. Yes, I refer to you all as trailblazers because just by your mere presence at this open house indicates that you have the courage to be the first participants in this HSI Excelencia initiative, and for many of you to also be the first generation student in your family, the first in your family to pursue a college education and degree. So I would be curious to know, if I'm accurate in this, how many of you will be the first in your family to pursue a higher education? Yeah. Many of us are. In fact, it's estimated that over 50% of students in the United States are the first in their family to go. So even though I know the journey can feel lonely, about 1 in 2 of students are the first ones to do it. So that means you're not alone and that there's others on this path with you. I also know that at community colleges like Mesa Community College, that number is far greater. So you're in great company on this journey, whether you're the first or you're continuing a family legacy. I just want you to know that you're in great company here, and that while being the first at doing something comes with its challenges, and yes, it can be tough, I'm here to tell you that we're also built not to break, and you are even tougher than the obstacles you might face. In fact, I know from my own life and from the thousands of first generation and diverse students I have worked with for over 3 decades, that Latino students and diverse and first generation students are absolutely relentless. They're brilliant and they're resilient, willing to give their all, con muchas ganas, to achieve their college degrees, to improve their lives and that of their families. You are evidence of that today, that not even La Rona, not even COVID, not even a pandemic, not even the ongoing impact of it and the very real challenges, suffering, and losses we have individually and collectively faced can keep us down forever. We are people who fight the good fight, and we move forward with our dreams and our sueñitos because they are driven by a relentless desire to uplift more than just ourselves, but also to elevate the communities and families that we're a part of. We know what the civil rights leader Cesar Chavez said that is true, that we simply cannot seek achievement for ourselves and forget about progress and prosperity for our community. Our ambitions must be broad enough to include the aspirations and the needs of others for their sakes and for our own. This evening, I want to share some things about my story and some success strategies that I have learned through my career working with students for so many years. And I want you all, whether you're the student or family or loved one who's here, to really tune into this moment. I recognize that there's phone notifications, there's things to do, there's laundry waiting, and all manner of things that you're juggling for the rest of the evening. But I ask that you try to be present because the remarks that I have prepared are for you, for each and every one of you, wherever you are on this pathway. And will give you an opportunity to really reflect on your own experiences, your hopes, and your dreams. So with that, my presentation is called Sowing Seeds and Soaring Higher through Cariño, Familia, and Community. And you'll note that Cariño, Familia, and Community are 3 of the basic program elements of this HSI Excelencia initiative. You can see, read the overview for yourself, but what I really want to point out is the top of a cap and gown there of a cap, and it says, I am my ancestors' wildest dreams. And I absolutely love that, because when I think about my path, and I hope that you think about yours, the reason you're here today is because you have a dream, And the reason you're here today is because somebody before you, perhaps your parents, had a dream, and you're an extension of that dream. And so while again, you might feel alone, there is legacy behind you and there is legacy before you to be had. On the very far left of this slide is a photograph, in fact, the only photograph that I have of all 7 of my siblings and my mother in the center. I am the youngest of 8 children, the youngest child of immigrants from Puerto Rico who came to the US for a better life. My parents had only elementary school educations, but they believed deeply and fiercely in the power of education. In fact, I can still recall seeing Mommy advocating for us to be put into better classes in her broken English, and my father teaching himself to read by reading the encyclopedia. They wanted for us what they never got a chance to have, an education, and specifically a higher education, knowing that it would in fact better our lives. To borrow the lyrics of the Hamilton Broadway show In the Heights, my parents came with nothing and got a little more, but it's all about the legacy that they left with me. It's my destiny. Mommy, like so many of our ancestors, did not have the formal education to help me with homework or chemistry or math, but she was still educada, educated. In Spanish, the word educada means something different, not just formal education, it means wisdom. She possessed informal education and a life wisdom that guides me to today and that surpasses many of the so-called experts that I've learned from. So in that photograph on the very far left is my three sisters and my 4 brothers, and I'm on the very top of the far right sitting on my eldest brother's shoulders. This is about 1974. I'm about 2 or 3 years old, and I'm sitting on my shoulders, and I always point this out because, and that's my mother in the middle who single-handedly raised us. I always point that photograph out because I'm literally sitting on his shoulders, and I metaphorically sit on his shoulders since he was the first in my family to go to college. It took him 10 years to complete his degree because he kept stopping to help the family, to feed the family as the eldest. But I honor him and his legacy because of him, I went on to college, several others did, and our lives are radically different as a result of it. Those are graduation pictures of me from my undergraduate and my master's. I've had the opportunity to write 2 books and have an amazing, wonderful career. But my most important legacy, if you will, has been embodied in that photograph. That is me putting my son's graduation stole on. He graduated 2 years ago from ASU W.P. Carey School of Business. And the picture is so powerful for me because it embodies what so many of you guys are doing. You're making choices and sacrifices today that are going to benefit the generations to come. Because I stood in there, because my brother stuck it out, because I stuck it out, my son and your children and your families are going to have different opportunities. So remember that. It is what embodies so much of my purpose and what I do. Like so many Latino students, I was profoundly impacted by the duality of my existence. I felt like I lived in 2 worlds, sometimes contradictory worlds. On one hand, strong academic abilities secured my place at a pristine private college, and yet my life was also filled with a backdrop of a minority childhood. The truth is, as they mentioned in my bio, I grew up in Spanish Harlem in New York City during the height of the crack epidemic in housing projects. All the stuff that, and the nostalgia that hip hop sings about, I lived it, and it's not nearly as nostalgic or fun. I grew up fast in the barrio, worrying constantly about my family, about basics like food and safety. I was also keenly aware of the need to maneuver 2 different worlds, in 2 different languages at that, to be bicultural, at once staying endeared to my teachers in order to thrive, while also trying to survive the very real dangers and uncertainty of inner city life. It was such a chaotic and dangerous environment. Every day that I went to school, I lived in a high-rise building like so many of them in New York City and in urban environments. And every time I got on the elevator, I prayed that I'd make it down there without being robbed or worse. It was that dangerous. This biculturalism is a game changer and a cultural asset, though, that can be used to succeed throughout your life and onward. Fast forward to now, Several decades later, I'm a seasoned first-generation educator, author, coach, and entrepreneur. I'm still first-gen everything. And I know that the decision to attend college decades ago demanded tremendous courage, like the one that you have, to say yes to and to reach for more than what I saw around my immediate circumstances. My own journey has taken me from the housing projects of New York City, and along the way, I've been fortunate to achieve 2 university degrees, certificates from Harvard, write 2 books, study and live abroad, coach and impact thousands of lives, and to receive many awards professionally for my leadership in the community. At every single level, listen, I have felt first gen all over again. Proud of my achievements, yes, but also unsure and nervous given the incredible opportunities I earned moving forward. So I'm going to teach you a word, we do that in academia sometimes, that I use to describe myself, and hopefully you will take on for yourself. Today I'm going to speak to you de corazón, as an educator como Latina, as a mom of a recent college grad, from the very heart of the life lessons that I've learned along the way. This open house has taken a tremendous amount of planning, efforts, and is intended to help you feel welcome, to celebrate you and your families, and to equip you with knowledge and resources and tools so that you will have success on this educational journey. Success, in my opinion and in my experience, is largely an inside job, which is why my presentation today will focus on you, on some of the inside thoughts, the inner beliefs, the attitudes sometimes that we can have that sometimes can undermine us in our most beautiful dreams. I'm going to be real and raw because I don't know how else to do it, and I hope that you will have a better sense not only of who I am, but more importantly, of who you truly are and before you leave tonight. That you will walk away knowing that even though life is not perfect, even if you are not perfect, because the truth is no one is, that you should take great pride in being who you are, whether that is in being Latino, first gen, and flawsome. Yes, flawsome. That is a new word that I hope you appropriate. That means that you are awesome with flaws. There's no need to be perfect or act like you're perfect. Nobody is. And I believe that it is both the mountaintop experiences, our successes, and our valleys that make us amazing, flawsome, authentic human beings that are worthy to be known and to succeed. So I want you to take away, if nothing else tonight that you take away what this quote represents. I am are two of the most powerful words because what you say about yourself will shape your reality more than what anyone else says about you. Whether that be your mother, your father, your husband, your wife, your children, society, the news, it does not matter. Your voice will override. It is the singular most defining voice in your life because you're with it 24/7, 365, and those little thoughts that eat away of you, you need to learn how to replace with positive statements. Don't speak against yourself. You got a whole world waiting to do that for you. Don't make their jobs any easier. So say positive things, hopeful things about yourself and your future, and you will indeed have a positive life. This is not just some willy-nilly stuff. I live by this. I have seen the power of this in my own life. If you say positive things, hopeful things about your life, you will have a positive, hopeful life. But if you say and believe things about yourself, like I'm never going to make it, and you won't. Because what we know from life and from science is that you cannot live higher than your thoughts. I repeat, you cannot live higher than your thoughts. It all begins in here. Before jumping into some of the I am statements that I hope you will consider taking on for yourself, I want to speak to a little bit of the challenges. Issues such as on the left-hand side, there are challenges. And just so you know, if you're not familiar with the term, first-generation college student is one whose parent or guardian did not graduate with a 4-year degree. So if you're pursuing that as the first in your family, you are a first-generation student. And you're in great company with people like Michelle Obama and Sonia Sotomayor and many, many more very achieving folks. So some of the challenges you might face on the left-hand side there, and I ask that you follow the list there, see if any of them sort of catch your attention, are issues such as maybe academic preparation. Maybe you aren't as prepared in a particular subject for the rigor of college math or something like that. Financial strain. Almost every student that I talk to has some level of financial strain, whether they have to work, whether it's through their tuition, or whether it's because they have to do unpaid internships. There's financial strain. You might be uncomfortable seeking help. Anybody have a problem seeking help? I know I did for a very long time. People are pointing at each other. This is funny. I understand that, and I'll get into that a little bit more later on, but there's so much help available, and it's for you. We're here to serve you, and so I encourage you to do that. Maybe you feel the pressure of representation of your family, of your cultura. I know I did. I felt like as the first one, I wasn't just representing me, I was representing my entire family, my community, and that was a lot of pressure to have on me. Or maybe you're managing multiple roles. I see several adult students in here, and even traditional age students. Maybe you have children and a spouse and a job and you're a caretaker. So there's just so many different things you've got going on. These are all very real obstacles, but do not allow them to stop you, okay? The good news is that students like yourself also possess what I call superpowers, strengths which include resilience and resourcefulness, an absolute determination to beat the odds, pride in familia. I remember growing up, and in the time that I was growing up in the 70s and 80s, there was always this talk about being minority, female, and poor, and that was a triple statistic that you had against you. So I'm Latina, female, and poor, and I wasn't supposed to be anything but, a burden to society. And I remember hearing those things and being so angered by them because I knew I had dreams and hopes. And I decided to take that as my fuel because I was going to defy those statistics. I was going to go against what everybody said was possible. I encourage you to do the same. Pride in familia and your community and culture that will help you overcome these odds. These are all superpowers. One of the most potent superpowers, if you will, is that many of us have a very compelling why. There's a why behind what we do. So I want to show you really quick a video. It's less than 3 minutes long. It's an animation that will say it best. I can tell from some of the reactions in the room that it got to you, as it does every single time I watch this video. It's such a powerful exchange between a mother and a daughter. And what I think is so powerful about it is that even when we are pursuing our dreams, her mother was the one in school working and taking her to work with her. All the sacrifices that she made, many times she felt bad about those sacrifices because it meant that she couldn't be maybe as present with her daughter. And yet the daughter is saying, no, that was my inspiration. And the quote that sticks out most to me is the daughter says, I know that there's nothing that I'm gonna face as I pursue my dreams that's gonna be bigger than what you already faced and overcame. So whether you're doing this as an adult student, whether you're doing this as a traditional age student, people are watching and you might be feeling bad about the sacrifices taken, but you are inspiring their lives and their dreams and showing them that we can do hard things and that the sacrifices we make. You're also showing them that you're driven by a powerful why. So I want you to think for yourself at your table, what is your why? What is your core reason for getting a college education? And what is it that keeps you going, whether as a parent of a student or the student themselves when times get tough? So what we also know is that successful people, other than having a powerful and compelling why that's going to carry them through, they're also able to appreciate others' perspectives and are self-aware. Self-aware does not mean selfies. It means that you're aware of yourself and you get to take the time to know yourself, your strengths, your gifts, your abilities, your talents, and your weaknesses. Those areas where you may need to work on some more or where you may need some outside help. This is the time while you're in college, while you're here at Mesa Community College, to invest in and learn about you. Learn about the world, but learn about you, your hopes, your dreams, your options. So the tips that I want to share with you now are to equip you to speak and think in ways that will strengthen you and will propel you forward towards your goals, because the most common way that people give up their power is by thinking that they don't have any. You have a lot of power. And the power that I'm going to speak to now is what comes into your mind and out of your mouth. So these are going to be embodied in I am statements. And the first one is, and I want you, even at your table, to repeat after me, even if it's quietly, if you don't want to say it out loud, is I am enough. I am blank enough. I am strong enough. I am talented enough. I am smart enough. I am good enough. I am whatever enough. And repeat it over and over again till you actually start believing. My tip to you is doubt your doubts. Doubt your doubts, but don't doubt your destiny. Every single time I went to a new level of success, especially as the first one, I felt fear, I felt doubt, I felt questioning about who I was, and I heard those voices in my head trying to talk me out of it. When I was in high school, for instance, and I wanted to apply to an Ivy League school, I was afraid I wouldn't get in, and I also had a school counselor to tell me aim lower to play it safe. That's not what school counselors are supposed to do, by the way. When I was finishing my bachelor's degree and I had an opportunity to study and live in Spain, I also went to advice for teachers and family. But at the end of the day, I decided I needed to know what was on the other side of the world. And I went. I did it afraid. It was a life-changing experience that led to many, many others. Sometimes, maybe perhaps like some of you, when I dreamed really big, there were people who supported me, and then there were others who may have doubted me. Sometimes, to be perfectly honest, I was the worst doubter and hater of them all, wondering if I was good enough, smart enough, educated enough, talented enough, strong enough, which is why I can tell you from my own experience and from literally thousands and thousands of students that I've walked alongside, that beyond a shadow of a doubt, that you are indeed enough. Doubt your doubts. Do not doubt your destiny. You have to see the best in you, dream really big, and step out even if you are afraid. Feel the fear, because the fear is real, but don't let it be a stop sign. Feel the fear and do it anyway. You are enough. The second I am statement is, I am the real deal. I belong here. I belong any room that I walk into at any opportunity that I pursue, and so do you. Own your story and your successes. We all doubt ourselves sometimes, and that's natural, it's normal, but many times, Latino students and diverse students, as well as others, doubt themselves excessively, like too much, demasiado, okay? Imposter syndrome is a term used to describe an individual who doubts their accomplishments and has a persistent internal fear of being found out as a fraud or exposed as not good enough. So often, when you're the only one or one of just a few who looks like you, is where you're from, it's easy to feel like an outsider, an imposter. Although an HSI campus like Mesa Community College will have significant diversity, you might still wonder where you fit in. People at the very top of their game, people like the former First Lady Michelle Obama, the Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor, Congresswoman Alejandra Ocasio-Cortez, on and on and on, have all experienced these feelings of self-doubt. I have had those feelings many times when I was succeeding, when I was the only one, the only Latina, or the only female in the class, or in a broad room, or at a decision-making table. It is okay to feel fear. We're human. People feel fear. It is also okay to not know what you don't know. You don't have to know everything. It really is. But don't let that stop you from taking the next step forward. What you need to know, absolutely down in the core of your being, deep, deep, deep down past your pancreas, or whatever organ is last in your body, is that you are not an imposter or just lucky. You are the real deal. You matter, your family matters, and you are, yes, too legit to quit. I'm old school, okay? You, like the youngest Congresswoman AOC said, she belongs wherever and however she decides to go in life. You give yourself permission, and you belong here at Mesa Community College. I am worth the investment. Really, I think this quote says it best. Do something today that your future self is going to thank you for. The work that you're doing, the education that you're pursuing is going to take sacrifice. Anything really worth having is going to require work. Okay? You must have a vision for yourself. an idea, a dream of where you want to go. And if your vision doesn't scare you just a little bit, it's not big enough. So my questions for you are, what kind of person do you want to be? What impact do you want to make? What are you willing to do to get there? Because you will have to make sacrifices along the way. What are you willing to give up for now? Your vision and dreams will require something from you. Focus, dedication, sacrifices. But the ones that you make today, I promise you, are going to definitely pay off tomorrow. Your A's today are going to turn into scholarships tomorrow. But you have to invest yourself and have what I call an A. In order to have an A life, you cannot have a B attitude. Have fun, make friends, enjoy the journey. But remember, you came here to get something. Your education, your degree, a certificate, learning an edge, whatever it is you came to get, don't leave here without it. I am stronger and better every day. You know, there's a quote that says, a hero is no braver than any man, just brave 5 minutes longer. I'm asking you at those moments where you feel like you're going to give up, and we all have them, to last 5 more minutes, and then 5 more minutes after that. It takes ganas, grit, and guts to go for your goals. That's a lot of G's, right? Ganas, grit, and guts to go for your goals. You have to be brave every day to choose to pursue something that's unknown, to take a bet on yourself. You have to believe in something more, and you have to be able to bounce back from adversity because it's just a part of life. This path is not easy, but it's worth it. I encourage you to keep a growth mindset, which is simply a fancy way of saying that, you know what, I may not know everything, but I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to ask for help. I know I made a mistake. What matters is the lesson that I get on my way to my goal. I'm not just saying this to you as a person from academia who's worked in college or as an OG. I know what it's like to be young, full of dreams, and have to overcome all kinds of hurdles. If you will indulge me for a second, I want to tell you a little bit about what happened my freshman year in college. My freshman year of college, I got caught up with the wrong guy in a very toxic relationship. And I almost lost my scholarship. I was on the verge of being kicked out. In fact, if I'm being really honest, it almost cost me my life. I was a freshman. I was 18 years old, from the city, went to school at this private school. And in a matter of 8 weeks, I went from a 3.75 GPA, which is almost all straight A's at midterms, to a 1.27 in 8 weeks of my first semester. This is being on scholarship, being an A student, wanting to be there. I'll tell you that I was deeply depressed and ashamed that I had allowed myself and my family down. Truth is, I was lonely and unsure of who I was, especially because I was on a predominantly white college. And instead of asking for help, I allowed him to be a distraction, and he became a very toxic relationship that cost me almost everything. Maybe your experience is not the same as that, but maybe there's something or someone distracting you. So my question to you is, who or what is distracting you from what you came to do here? More importantly, who is energizing you and cheering you on? Who's got your back? Because there's people who got your back at this institution, and I'm sure in your personal lives. And most important of all, the 24/7, 365, most important one of all, is, do you have your own back? Do you have your own back? Are you your own best cheerleader? So often, I just want to speak to this really quickly. Actually, I'll hold off just a second. I digress. I get all fired up and then I just want to go on tangents. I gotta stop myself. I am unique and living on person. I love this quote. You can borrow if you like, it's not mine. Don't ask what the world needs, ask what makes you come alive, and then go do that. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive. Some questions for you to think about what makes you come alive. What are you on fire about? What is that thing that you do, that activity, that hobby, that volunteer work, whatever it is, that you lose track of time when you're in your zone, like when athletes get in the zone or musicians get in their zone? When are you in your flow? Is it playing an instrument or sport? Is it building something from scratch? Is it helping other people in need? What is it that you do that feels so natural that you just lose total track of time, that energizes you? Are you a good communicator or problem solver? Do you bring peace and stability to situations? It's important to really take some time to think about your interests and your strengths outside of school, and to also get outside of your comfort zone, because that's where you're going to actually grow. To have hobbies and to be willing to try new ones, to join clubs and teams here at Mesa Community College or in your community as well. To do things with people who are like you, but also from people with others who are not like you, because you're going to gain perspective from them as well. There's something that you are uniquely placed on this planet to do, an assignment, a role you can play, a contribution you can make, an impact you can make in the world that only you can do. So don't waste your time imitating someone else when you can be a first-rate version of yourself. Only thing I want to say about this here is I'm excited about life and grateful for who I'm becoming as I'm passionately pursuing my dreams. I love, love, love this quote by Rumi that says, "Live life as if everything is rigged in your favor." When I first saw it, I thought to myself, for the longest time, I never lived like that. Having grown up in all the adversity and the survival mode and just trying to hustle to stay alive and to stay basic needs like food and home and all the chaos, I learned as a necessity to be vigilant, to be hyper vigilant, right? That meant that when I got on that elevator, it was, all armed up, right? Walled up, on the defensive. And what I realized, and I've seen this in so many students that I've worked with, that when you've just gotten used to surviving, sometimes it's really hard to believe that something good's gonna happen. And I'm gonna challenge you that you've gotta believe that they're gonna happen first. So what if, instead of wondering all the what ifs that could go badly, when you go for that interview, when you're in that class, when you're doing that presentation, when you go for your dream, all the bad what ifs, I'm gonna challenge you to flip it on its head. What if you allowed yourself to believe that it could go right, that it could go well, that it could go even better than what you had planned? Because it can. And to consciously make a choice to be optimistic in that way. The other choice that I urge you to make is one to be bold. This is no time to play small. This is no time to play, to shrink. You have to have some level of boldness. You don't have to act like me, but you have to have some boldness. And I love this quote that says, walk into the room, whatever room you walk into, like God sent you there. With authority, with a purpose, with a vision, with your head held up. It frustrates me to know when I walk across a campus and I try to acknowledge a student and they lower their eyes. You're important, you matter, you're the VIP on this campus. President, that's cool, but you're the VIPs because you keep us all in business. You're the VIPs. Take pride in that and be bold and walk into opportunities with a level of boldness that you know what? There's a 50-50 chance that you're going to make it, that you're going to get it, and focus on that. The last thing I want to say as I close these remarks is you are welcome here, you matter here, you are welcome on this journey, you're welcome through this program. We recognize that you're not just here to drop somebody off. You matter, and the support that you bring matters as much as anybody else's support that they can receive here at the university or college, wherever their life takes them. Every single thing that I achieved was because of somebody who came before me. Anybody who tells you that they got somewhere by themselves is not telling you the truth. No one gets anywhere by themselves. Now, you may have had to scrap, but nobody gets anywhere by themselves. There are people in history who fought for our rights to be here tonight, every single one of our rights. Not so long ago, you would have walked onto a college campus and would have been met by dogs and police and hoses. That's not that long ago. So it's a privilege and a right that was won through tremendous sacrifice by others. There are people through our own lineage and our own history that have overcome unmentionable things, unbearable things, so that you could have an opportunity, whether your family immigrated from another country or has been here for centuries. There are people that you don't even know, people who are watching you, your neighbor, your vecina, the landscape guy, the little primos and primas who are watching you, taking cues about what's possible for them, that you represent a hope for. There are people praying for you, rooting for you, watching and hoping that you make it to your goals, because that will inspire and strengthen their ability to achieve their goals as well. Yes, you are the first, but you won't be the last. I know that all of this might feel like a lot to carry a student, but to he who much is given, much is also expected. Don't be burdened by the weight of expectations. Be strengthened and elevated by this community. Look around you, look around this room. You may be the first, but you are not alone. There are a group of people who want to just be there for you, cheering you on, helping you along the way. You will be the beginning with this program and with the journey you decide to be on in Mesa Community College. The very beginning of a very beautiful genesis of a legacy in your own family, in your community, that will change the world for better for generations to come. And I, for one, am proud to know you. Muchísimas gracias. Thank you. I just wanted to close out with something that I wanted to share with you all. So appreciate your attentiveness through this evening. So I've shared this on the other campuses, is that I've been able to work with this program since its inception, since the visionary leader who's back at the back of the room there, Donna Lopez Martinez, created the idea, applied for the funding. The Helios Foundation is the major funder of this program and initiative, and it builds off on an already existing program that they had also been the leaders of and the creators of. But so I've had the chance for to see this vision on paper, to hear it, and then to see it fully manifest itself as I've gone to each of these campuses and been part of the launch. And beyond the shadow of a doubt, I know that this program is going to make significant impact on your life. I can say that both as somebody who knows the people who are leading it, but also because of the elements of the program and what I know about excellent initiatives that impact student success. That's my whole field and area of expertise. I can tell you that this is the real thing, the real deal people who are going to make a real impact in your life if you just say yes and keep coming back. So you're in a phenomenal place, and I'm excited about your journey. But I've also shared with them that I've never been so moved, if you will, by the love that they feel for what they're doing. And so I was moved to write a poem about this program. So I just want you to know I have never written a poem about a program, okay? And so I want to close with that, if you will. If you give me a little bit of your energy, maybe give me some love. I'm going to need some love because it's kind of spoken wordish, okay? I'm going to need your energy, so to carry this out, share this, and then, like I said, continue to connect. Make sure you don't leave here without knowing at least one other person, getting their contact number. That's my challenge to you, right? Is to get out of your comfort zone, starting now, and start meeting people, because all these folks are going through similar experiences. And this is your group. These are your people. This is another tribe for you to support you during your journey here at Mesa Community College. So you ready for me? Give me some love if you're ready for me. Real love, like you really love me, not like you like me. Okay, yes, I'm an extrovert. I need your energy. Okay, so this is called, because you know the program's called HSI Excelencia. This is called Mi Excelencia, My Excellence. And it's actually a poem that I'm writing about you, about what I see in you, your excellence, okay? I'm just the messenger. Don't act surprised by my excelencia. It's in my presencia, my excellent presence present everywhere I go, because I had raíces y alas, roots and wings that empower my dreams, that keep me grounded inside, giving me wisdom and insights, even as I bravely take flight to places unknown. As the very first one in my family, going to college, seeking hope and knowledge, but no worries, I'm not alone, and first gen is not a calamity. I am blessed, I am enough, I am made of the good stuff, upheld by mi gente, emboldened by my family. I walk upright, so fly on this HSI campus, bent only on making myself known as I refuse to whisper and to hide. My pride swells, my pride swells, my pride swells. I am Excelencia, and from good soil I'm grown. From seeds that were planted long before this open house, this orientation day, nourished by my ancestors, cariño, community, and faith. I'm coming for mine. I'm here to stay. I'm coming for mine. My goals I will slay. Can I get an amen, Mesa Community College? Amen. Yo soy Excelencia Hispana, and I ain't gonna play. I'm not a guest here. I claim my place, dear. The first but not the last. full of first-gen bilingual sass. Lo que sembraron mis antepasados is guaranteed 100% to be great. I gotta go now. My path of limitless possibilities away, strutting because I belong here and I won't delay as my technicolor dreams and visions manifest, no matter the trials and the tests, come what may. From seas to soaring to full bloom, my victory is assured, your victory is assured and on display, draped in honor and regalia. Mírame, mírame, I am Excelencia, you are Excelencia, walking tall on the graduation stage. Thank you very much.